Welcome to another episode of the Theatre of Dreams. This is your extra time edition, and you got some extra special people doing it as well. As usual, Richard Irvine looking after the red side of Merseyside, and Dom the Glasses Bars looking after City. He's in very good form, actually. I wonder if it's anything to do with your team going top. I'm Rod Maxwell, and I represent the red half of United. How are we, boys?
Top of the world. Top of
Top
the
of the
world.
world.
Top of the
Top of the
world,
league. Don't
top of
get
the league. Well, look, let's actually start with a club that's not so far off the top, but are being in a pickle this week. Chelsea. Did you see this coming with their senior lasting just 107 days?
Oh, I mean, you've got to say
what
Chelsea. You've got
five
to say, yeah,
five
Chelsea can.
five games without a goal and losing in a row and without a goal. Yes, I did.
Yeah, yeah. It's difficult, isn't it? Because even though it's only 107 days, and the guy's been ridiculed since he's come along, hasn't he? He's just like he's been thrown almost into the lion's den since the moment he arrived. He's been
Mm.
ridiculed as being like some in between his lookalike or whatever it is, and he's the way he talks and he's not been given any time or any verbal visual backing by the club. Let's be truthful, and the players have absolutely thrown him under the bus. I watched that game the full 90 minutes against Brighton. It was the worst performance by that Chelsea squad I've seen forever. It could have been seven. I mean, it was the easiest win for Brighton. That was why he's gone. It was completely inept at all levels.
Shambolic.
Big,
Oh,
big,
Shambolic.
big Dom. I mean, while this looks like an L driver driving a Ferrari, right? What is the thing about this is he was one of their players. Was he a manager of Strasbourg, one of
mm-hmm.
their other clubs? So this is somebody they've picked up from within their football group. You would think that they would have a bit of insight about his profile, about his articulation, his confidence, etc., etc. They would know him better than anybody. And yet, it was it just a case of too soon, too much too soon.
It's the Chelsea way. I mean, I've very little sympathy, not for fan bases because the fan bases aren't choosing it. I'm not a big Chelsea fan, full stop. But the way that the club is run is just shambolic, and normally we could quote on Wolves and Leicester City and all these other teams that have been in an absolute pickle, and the common denominator is owners who shoot from the hip, recruitment and firing, and eventually it catches up on you. And the Chelsea had a quick look yesterday when he'd gone to see how long he'd lasted. And he like say 107 days, and then you look at the last manager on paper. Maresca had got all the credentials.
Mm.
The year before was Pochettino. He did a year, just over, right? These guys are in the top echelons of available managers, and then when it's not going right, they get shut.
So what you're looking at Tuchel, Potter, Pochettino,
What?
Maresco, and Rossinier. Now you're not talking about the B League of managers there, are you?
Not
So
at all.
then you're looking at the new owners of Chelsea and their I don't know, their mentality, their psychology, the culture of the club, and you sort of think, would that be an easy club to go to? I don't think so.
It's
By the way, I saw that they gave him. John might correct me on this, but they gave him a 5-year contract.
Bob on,
They
Bob
have,
on.
they're going to have to give him 20 million quid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's not enough.
20 million quid. Just
they do.
think about that for a moment.
I know, 20 million quid
For
is a
how
hell of
long
a lot more than
for
we
how
have.
long he's worked there,
107
20
days.
million pounds.
Yeah.
Isn't that outrageous? That's football now. Not his fault.
Not his fault. But what I tell you
20
what,
million quid.
I tell you what I
Flipping
find
hell.
interesting. Some of the names that have been linked, for example, Fabregas and Lampard, for example, they're both come out today or last night and said, Frank Lampard said, "I've got a project here at Coventry,"
Mm.
and so Fabregas said. Fabregas has said he's got a long term project at Como. So
Yeah, and I've heard people more like the Bournemouth manager and the Fulham manager that they're the ones that are getting. I've heard a bit more buzz about.
but
Yeah,
I mean, Callum McFarland, who's the coach there, has taken over as interim. I can't see them bringing anybody in before the end of the season. Why would
no.
anybody want to come in with 5 games to go?
No, no, no.
No, no, not at all. I mean, they'll be lucky to get any European football the way that they're imploding. The Champions League's a done deal. Everybody, great for everybody else. What's
Great for
happened?
Liverpool. This is,
Yeah,
by the way, this is great for Liverpool, by the way, because
perfect.
as soon as five places was confirmed, Chelsea have just and
It's terrific.
getting that win at Everton has just given us that massive breathing space at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. The Chelsea thing is, I mean, if you like you say, it's Potter to this. We took a manager on with experience. I mean, Potter was doing very well at Brighton. Um, he's no different to the equivalent of the Bournemouth guy now, really, and he's had a massive payday. So I don't feel too sorry for him. I mean, if I'm Rosinia, I'm quite happy to be ridiculed for 3 months and called whatever you want. If I'm having 20 million quid, I'll take it on the chin. I mean, if they want to give me the job, I'm in. I mean, we can, but who on earth, like Fabregas, who's got credentials, or Alonso, are they honestly going to take that Chelsea job?
No chance.
And it's interesting. I'm just reading here. It's actually from the BBC website, and there's a fan of Chelsea, a guy called Alex Churchill, and he says it's all aboard the crazy train. And what he seems to be saying is it wasn't really the fans that were calling out for this. It's a board decision, and he actually said we're not going to get a top manager, maybe not even a mid-range one, until people can see the structure within the club has changed. This is Chelsea are in trouble, aren't they, in terms of getting that structure, that director of football, and the leadership right?
Oh, by the way, from what I gather about the Port Vale fans who visited there the other week, the stadium, is it's also pretty old now, and I know they want to build a new one, but that could be years away. So the stadium's nothing special anymore. And like you could also argue that Abramovich, I know he changed managers frequently as well, but whenever he did, they won stuff. Oh, it's all right, Dom. They did
Yeah,
when
yeah, yeah.
Abramovich made a call on the manager, the one that came in won them something. So
The game.
actually,
I just think the game's changed though. He was able to do that because if you threw money at it, you could have a season where it would work. I mean, he did it with Conte was the last real success where he got a couple of titles because he's top manager and managed to get them over the line. But they don't build dynasties, they don't build legacies because it's the whole thing's short termism. It's a bit like them continually having a bet on an 8-1. Yeah, occasionally they'll get one in, but it's so erratic.
yeah.
The way they go about it. And now that you've got the Cities, the Arsenals, the Liverpools, with more about journeys and processes and a plan, the Chelsea can't get to the top table anymore. And financially, I don't know behind the scenes, but with them not getting Champions League, let's not talk about whatever it's called these days. What they can spend. Are they going to have to sell the contracts that these players are on for 10 years, the wages, the transfer fees?
There's rumours that Man City are interested in, is it Enzo Fernandez?
Yeah, I mean, I don't get that, but I don't get that at all. I think that's just paper talk. I don't think he's a City type player. I don't think any of them are particularly good now. Some of them have been ruined. Palmer.
Cole Palmer, maybe United.
I would have him back I would have him in a heartbeat. I gotta say, you're talking about money. They posted a 262 million pound loss in 24-25 season. So, they can't fall back on the money tree that was their previous owner. And it's a totally different model now for this club. And also, that stadium won't attract a lot of people. It's not big enough, actually.
No, it's not.
So it's
they've had the biggest losses, haven't they? Something like the heaviest ever record losses.
Highest pre-tax loss in Premier League history in 24-25.
But Dom, won't they get therefore punished for that?
Well, there's a risk. There's a risk. Look, I mean, all that. It's all smoke and mirrors. Everton get docked some points. Forest get docked some points. There's obviously all the noise that's gone on for years around City, but clearly it's clearly different, whatever that is. The whole thing's a mess. But fundamentally, running that what we're talking about is a club that is run like Chelsea in such a chaotic way. A manager who wants to build his career wouldn't go there.
No,
because it can ruin your career. I mean, look, Harry Potter, bloody Harry Potter. But you might as well call him Harry Potter. He's now the manager of Sweden, and he's found his place again because he was coaching over there, wasn't he, years ago? And he's now the international manager, and he's got him into
The World Cup.
Into the World Cup. Great, but look how long it's took him.
Yeah.
Look how long it took him to build his career back. When at one point he was the man and could have gone anywhere. So who the hell will go there? It's going to have to be somebody who's been round the block, who's already had a career. Because if you're Fabregas, who's doing a great job at Como and building up like he's like a new Alonso, or all these sorts of players who got enough credibility to get a proper job at a big club, you go to Chelsea, it can wreck you.
And plus, Lampard's already had to go there once or twice, hasn't he?
He's once, I think he came in as short-term interim as well.
So it's an absolute pickle. But I'm sorry, not the fans, but they deserve what they've got. And the way they play, there's absolutely no soul in that club. We get called the plastic club. This is different levels. The place. It's like a Lego stadium. He hasn't got a very big fan base. Well, at the ground, because it can't occupy them. And they're going to end up wallowing around the middle of the league for a few seasons, I imagine.
It's not been a good month for London-based clubs, really, isn't it? Because you got Tottenham sitting down in relegation spot, and then you, City, Dom, have had a fantastic April. You've knocked Arsenal off top spot by goal difference. It couldn't be tighter. Those two losses that they suffered in the last two games has really sort of changed the momentum, maybe, of the championship.
Yeah, look, it was a great. It's from where we were 3 weeks ago to where we are now, right? I can't be anything other than happy. If I'm really greedy, we didn't really do particularly well at Burnley away, and maybe the lack of goals scored might, we'll only the end of season will tell us if that's a problem. It's super tight, as my granddad would say, it's tighter than a fish's bum, and that's watertight. But it's tight, and we're in it. That's all we are. We haven't won it. There was a lot of a conversation about us Rooney saying that we over-celebrated last week. No, come on. This is what football's about. Let's have a little bit of banter and passion and players being entertaining and fans jumping up and down. That's what we want, right? So we're back in it. But is it a given? Everyone's going, well, City will win the title now. Absolutely not. And I like to take the heat off them. That's my way. But there's a lot of football to play. And we struggled at Burnley. I went to Burnley away. I was behind the goal.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was. You'd like this. I was 3 rows away from the fella who had the Arsenal bottle.
Oh yeah,
Everyone, honestly, he's like a little celebrity now. Everyone's having a photograph with him as if he's won the game.
Did he have the bottle? Did he have the bottle with him again?
He did. Of course he did. Yeah, of course he did. It's his trademark for now. So anyway, I went to the game and Burnley played very well. I mean, they put a really good fight up, and we were leggy, and we got over the line. But that could have been a daft result. 1-0 with 10 minutes to go. You only need a ricochet or a set piece. There was a corner in the last minute where their keeper went up. I mean, anything could have happened, right? Yeah. So football. That's why we love the sport, because anything can happen. There's a long way to go. 5 games is a lot. So there will be maybe twists. Everyone is assuming that both teams will just win all them games. I think Burnley have shown that's not necessarily what will happen. The biggest bit for me, for Arsenal, is Fulham and Newcastle. They play those two, Newcastle and Fulham. They play those two the next 2 home games while we're in the FA Cup and don't play a league game. So they've got 2 league games now before we kick off against Everton. If they win both of them, and they get, say, +4 goal difference off that, then that is an incredibly strong challenge back, because we then 6 points behind, and at the moment I'd always have the points in the bag than the games in hand. So I think it's far from over, and I thought actually let's give a little bit of grace. We beat them, but they played a lot better.
Yes.
Right, they played a lot better. We edged it, but it could have gone either way. Eze's shot was fantastic. There's other times when you've got to take your moments. And with Haaland, who took his, it was a great game. The atmosphere was fab. And have you got a dodgy keeper? Have you got a dodgy keeper, Dom? No. I mean, it was a hell of a mistake, wasn't it? He's not. He can be a bit slow on his feet. I think it's because he's so tall. He's like
Mm.
it takes him a little while. It's like an avatar, isn't he? So I think it just takes him a few more minutes to get his feet straight. But we've not actually conceded a goal except for that one mistake in 5 matches now.
Oh wow.
Oh,
So Gay and Kushinov are some pair. So we'd be interested to see what happens for the rest of the season. But look, we're from where we were. There's a title race on. That's good for the neutral. So we've got something entertaining. We all need something. Europe's pretty much agreed now, isn't it? That Chelsea have messed up, so that's done. So the title's up for grabs. The relegation's up for grabs. And let's see who comes out of a remaining 5-game league, because that's now what it is. We're on the same points,
yeah.
same goal difference. It's a straight shootout on a 5-game league. So let's see what happens. If somebody gets a 5 or 6-0 win, it puts them in a great position. But I don't know. Is someone going to drop some points? I think probably, and it could be City. Could be City. Could be Arsenal. I think it's 50-50. It genuinely is 50-50.
Well, let's turn to Liverpool derby on Sunday, because it was the late Van Dijk show. 10 minutes into extra time, got the winner. Richard, what did you make of this game?
Well, actually, I was at my son's cricket game, so I was just keeping an eye on the score. Actually, I couldn't watch the game, and of course I was over the moon when I saw that Van Dijk had scored in the 10th minute of extra time. But I think we deserve that bit of. I'm not saying good fortune, because I think Liverpool apparently deserved the win, but a typical Van Dijk header. I mean, they must have known that he was going to go up for it. I mean, they didn't really defend that corner very well,
No,
did they? I mean, it was a great.
Tarkovsky should. Tarkovsky's strong. I would have expected him to do a bit more, and
Yeah, because
Van Dijk bullied him.
it was a typical Van Dijk header from the corner. I mean, they know who they're aiming for. Because Canate's not going to head it in. Van Dijk's the man for those corners, so it was a bit poor from Everton, really. But great to win in that new stadium, and the first derby there. I mean,
Mm.
and great 3 points for Liverpool. Because even though we're saying Chelsea are giving us some breathing space, I think Brighton have overtaken Chelsea, haven't they? And you can't rule out Brighton getting winning several games in a row. So
Brighton
those,
have overtaken Brighton are in
yeah,
sixth spot.
so those 3 points, were really, really important. And it means now that when we go to difficult places like Man United, that probably, hopefully, avoid defeat. Obviously, try and win the game, but a draw is not going to be a disaster. So, really, really important 3 points for Liverpool, which was on paper a very tricky game. We thought, didn't we? We talked about it,
Mm.
and I think they'll be very, very happy. Especially, by the way, if you notice that the Allison's injured, the other goalkeeper got injured, so this unheard of reserve keeper came on for, I think, at least half an hour, and is obviously going to be in goal now for possibly the remainder of the season.
He came on just before half time.
Oh,
Just
did
before, because
he?
it was the equalising goal that he got. Better went into his knee, and the keeper
Yeah,
went off.
Yeah.
So he played the whole half.
got a
I thought,
gash. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I said last week, I thought you'd get rolled over 2 or 3-0 if you remember, and
Yeah, you did.
I did. But you didn't. You stood up to it, and I think, look, when you've had a terrible season, winning a derby, it just gives a tonic, doesn't it? So I think the 3 points and the fact you won a derby.
and he gave Mr. Slot a tonic, I tell you.
Yeah, you needed it. Like if you can get a result against United, or like you say, just credibility is where Liverpool. The season is what it is now. You're going to
Yeah,
finish there. You've got nothing technically to play for, but you've got momentum. Teams like Liverpool is about momentum going into the end of the season. Going, okay, right, we've got past that mess. Let's finish on a bit of a high. It'll be the same for United and Villa.
and we need to talk about the fact that Ekitike, of course, has got a very nasty injury,
Mm.
Achilles, and
Oh.
who knows how long that's going to be out for, and if he's going to come back the same player. But I think this is also very. Salah's obviously now choosing to show a bit of form, and obviously he'll want to finish on a high. But of course, Isak's now back, and he probably isn't fit. But this is a great opportunity for him as well to try and endear himself to fans, maybe scoring an odd goal or two, to say, listen, you're gonna have to give me a chance because I'm going to give it everything next year. I'm going to be needed. Isak's going to be needed next year for goals.
Yeah, he's missed the season, and he had no pre-season. Then he come in eventually after the mess of signing him, because it was a mess.
That
And
was the
then
Newcastle signing, wasn't it?
yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, because he went on strike and all that, he wasn't even fit. He
Mm.
turned then he has that leg, that was a fracture, wasn't it, almost from an impact injury. So he's like a new signing next year. Well, only no one can comment whether he's actually a Liverpool player and he's going to do any good, because he's not played any football yet. I mean, Salah scored a good goal. It was a great ball by Gakpo, by the way. But yeah, you're just on that sort of jogging to the finishing line and just trying to get some credibility, really, aren't you?
Kudos, yeah.
Yeah,
In the league, it couldn't be closer at the moment in third, fourth, and fifth places. If you think that, you've got Manchester United and Villa both on 58, and then Liverpool on 55. And really, a very mixed bag form across all three teams. Villa, those three losses they had in a row really impacting them. But it's tight all over the league, as it has been pretty much all season.
I don't think Villa ever thought they were going to win the league, but to get
No.
Champions League football
Oh.
is a huge. That was their goal, so they look like they're pretty much there, don't they, Dom?
yeah. But again, good management. Again, it goes back to ownership, not what Chelsea have done. Took on a great manager there, and I mean, I don't think he was ever under pressure, because he's delivered since he's turned up. But not panicking and sticking with the plan, because they did have a little wobble, didn't they? But then
They had the three losses in a row.
yeah, we've got them City have got them the last game of the season. I've said it a couple of times this week to people. I'm
Big
very, very keen to make sure that, I mean, there's no guarantee. As I say, I'm taking one game at a time, but thinking ahead, if it got to the last game of the season where we needed to win, which is the least it's going to be in it, right? So it's going to that. Then we want Villa obviously safe, and I want them in the final. I mean, actually, I'd quite like Forest to beat them in the semis emotionally, but my head says no. I need Villa in the final, so when they're playing us in the league, they're all rested, because they'll be ready for a European final. They won't be. They won't. That'll be a dead rubber. That's what I want it to be.
Can you remind me, either of you, what's Forest and Villa? What are they, in the quarters or semis or
No semis?
semis?
Yeah, so semis final. So,
And do you know who they've got?
the other semi. Oh God,
Oh, I get my.
I can't remember.
FA Cup.
No, this is the Europa.
Oh, sorry.
And then Palace, and then we've got Palace. Don't forget, in the other semi of the other one, the other European trophy. So we've got great representation.
Oh, Palace is still, yes.
Palace are in a semi. They've got a European final on the horizon. And actually, when it's the Champions League, I'm funny. I only want City to win. I don't want Liverpool to win, Arsenal to win. I don't become patriotic at all, because I think if you win the Champions League, it does trump everything else. So you don't want to win the title and then find out another English team's won the Champions League a few weeks later, because it creates a shadow.
Yeah, that's interesting, Dom, because so you say it trumps everything then.
Yeah, from a kudos point of view, that Champions League, you think of these city teams. I'm not. Yeah. It's difficult to say one's better than the other, but all I can tell you is that this amazing Manchester City team with this manager, which is as good as anything that football's ever seen in the UK. I'm not saying better, but it's as good as anything that's ever been seen within Paisley or Shankly or Fergie. A lot of people would argue it's been even more.
Right, but, calm down.
But you know what I mean. But it's been dominant. But we've had what, 6-7 titles in 10 years. Peps and Pellegrini's and Mancini's, and all these cups and a zillion visits to Wembley. We've got one Champions League.
Yeah.
And
boy, that was a relief when you got it, wasn't it? It was the monkey off your back.
And it is, because the pressure and the emotion of winning that is absolutely ridiculous. And so I think all players want that one. It's like winning a World Cup, innit? They're rare. They're just rare.
Yeah.
So, some incredible world all-time greats who haven't got a Champions League, but have got a load of domestic titles. So I think that I never support another English team in the Champions League, sorry. But I'm incredibly patriotic when it comes to the Villa, Forest and Crystal Palace games.
Any competition you're not in, basically.
Yeah. And I'm all with them then.
Richard, remind me, when was the last time when Liverpool won the Champions League but didn't actually win the Premier League? When was that?
Well, I remember
19?
that. I think the last time we won the Champions League was beating Tottenham, wasn't it?
Yeah,
All right, and you
And
didn't
and
win.
we didn't win the league that year.
So
19, I think.
how did that feel? I mean, did that feel like you had it was better to win the Premier League?
Uh, Dom will have to remind me, but I think at that point we hadn't won the Premier League. Am I right, Dom?
It was 19. So it was a season before. And I think, what am I right in saying that was the season of the 98 and 97 points between us?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you basically you got the point, you got 97 points and you won the Champions League, but you didn't win a double.
Yeah, no.
Crazy, innit? The thing is, it's weird because Liverpool have got an unusually high success rate in the Champions League.
Yes.
So to me,
I
it
think
was
that's the
massively important because it's the first time we won it, whereas they've won it, what, 6 times?
And we've lost in a few finals against Real Madrid as well with Klopp.
But
You've got an incredible record.
but on this,
And I think that's the Anfield factor, by the way.
I do.
do you think though that the new format for the Champions League, because it is more like a league format, it might actually mean more because you're not playing as much knockout football, if you like.
I think it's the European League, isn't it? Where you dress
It
it
is
up.
the European League.
It's the European League. You're the best team in Europe. So to win that, if we were to pip Arsenal for the title, but they then went and won the Champions League, then all credit. I mean, I don't think they will because I think PSG and Bayern are way. In fact, actually, I don't think Arsenal will get past Atletico Madrid. But they've done an incredible run to get to where they are. But let's see, they're in it. We're not in it. At least they've got a shot at it. But I do think that depends where you've been. Arsenal, if you ask Arsenal fans which one they want to win, they'll just say either, surely, because they've never won the Champions League and it's been ages since they've won the domestic league. So if you're one of them, you just want to win something, don't you? But they are at least fighting for the two best cups.
Yeah, but I think we've talked about Tottenham to death at the moment, and I'm just looking at what their run-in looks like. So they next play Wolves. You would assume that should be a win. Then they go to Villa.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me just stop you there. If they lose against Wolves, is that away? That's away, isn't it?
That's away.
Right. Wolves want to give something to their fans, I think. If Tottenham lose against Wolves, they're down.
Well, let's just look because they've then got Villa, then they host Leeds, then they go to Chelsea, and then their last game is Everton. That's not a great run-in, is it? Really?
I'm telling you now, if they lose against Wolves, they're down.
It's the biggest. It would be the biggest relegation since.
Well, could it be since United
City-
went down almost?
Well, I would say you could argue maybe since the City team with Georgie King-Clatsy in the mid-90s.
Yes.
When we got a 2-2 draw at Liverpool and we all thought that's all we needed to, and the crowd are telling that's all we needed when we didn't. I mean, not that it would have made a difference because I don't think we'd have scored, but we went down with a team that was too good on 40 points. Now, I think it's probably an equivalent. That's probably the equivalent to it, and maybe a Newcastle team as well. Only because of the size of the club.
But I think people now just think of the stadium. They've got the most modern, probably the best stadium in the league. That's what people think about because they're all thinking about visiting the stadium.
Oh, it'll be half empty. But if you think, right, so they go to Wolves, maybe 3 points there. Then they go to Villa. You assume 3 points to Villa.
Yeah.
Then they host Leeds, possibly a tie.
Leeds are safe now. Remember, they got that point. They got that point, so they got
nothing to play for. They might.
Are you sure? So a lead safe?
Yeah,
definitely, mathematically.
Well, they're on 40 points now. They got a point against Bournemouth this week, didn't they? So I think it's look, they're safe. There's not.
And then Spurs' last game is a London derby against Chelsea. No, sorry, it's not. It's not. It's the second last game. Their last game is at home to Everton, and that won't be an easy game. That's going to be very, very interesting. So if their run-in is tricky, it's laced with little things. Anyway, just turn away from the Premier League just for 1 minute because in the Championship, Coventry have romped to the Championship there, 89 points, and that means that Lampard will be managing them. You assume in the in the EPL. They've really romped that league, haven't they?
Yeah, they had a wobble. They were clearly just
Three draws
dominating
recently.
it. They don't dominating it. Then they went up right off the rails. I think in January, and then they suddenly got caught up, and then they sorted themselves out again.
Yeah.
And everybody else, if I'm honest, is, I don't mean rude to the league, but below Coventry, it isn't very clever, and they've drawn a lot. Like Millwall and Ipswich are fighting for it. I mean, I really fear for them next season, any of them. But Coventry have been, they had them amazing semi-finals with United when they nearly beat them in that crazy game. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Was it on penalties?
Yeah.
They've been knocking around the playoffs for a while, so it's been coming. Mark Robbins built that team. Lampard's then took it on to another level, and yeah, they deserve it. They're coming up, and it's been 25 years. And again, for us older folk, Coventry City is one of them teams. I mean, probably because they wear sky blue. They remind me a bit of City. And I remember the 1987 FA Cup final on the telly. That was one of the best finals ever when they beat Tottenham 3-2 with Keith Houchin diving header and Gary Bennett. Dave Bennett, brilliant. He was ex-City. And it was one of the best finals ever. So they're one of them teams, aren't they, that nobody dislikes. So I just love it when teams who've been in the mess and the fan base has been in a mess in the doldrums. They went bump. They remember Rico Arena. They didn't have a stadium. I mean, it was an absolute show. And now they're back in the Premiership. So I just always, I'm grateful for their fan base who must be loving life. Do you know what I mean? It's great.
Oh. Well, I mean, it's interesting. If you look down at the playoff positions, you've got Millwall with 79 points currently, and then Wrexham in sixth place with 70 points. I mean, who would bet against Hollywood Wrexham actually sneaking that, in the playoffs? Would not be a story going from National League. Is it National League in 3-4 years? I think it's every year. Promotion.
Every year.
Mad. Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem like it. So 3 years ago since Altrincham were playing them in the National League or something.
Yeah. I don't think they'll go up this time, but it'll be a remarkable effort to get to the playoffs. They're not there yet, by the way. It's really close in that sixth.
So it is really close because Hull City are on 70 or are on 70 points as well. So they're not there yet, but it would be a Hollywood fairy tale.
It would be,
wouldn't it?
It would be and can we just mention while we're on the Championship, Leicester City?
Oh
dear. Again, you guys are lucky enough not to have experienced this. My heart goes out to big clubs as much as we have the banter. When your team drops like that, my goodness, the most expensive squad favourites to get promoted and they get relegated. Wow. Wow. The mismanagement again.
If Stoke hadn't had such a good start to the season, we'd be down there now. Luckily, Stoke have probably done enough, but my goodness, if we didn't have those 4 wins out of 5 at the beginning.
Leicester City, I know a few. Do you know they went down? I didn't know this. I had to Google it. Get a few more stats. They went down. The only time they've been in that division, Leicester City, in their history was 2009. So they've had this horrible feeling then. They then had the most, if you look at their timeline, they then bounced back the following season. They then sort themselves out. They come up. They had that crazy season where they should have gone down and won the last 5 games, and it was the escape of all escapes. I mean, and then the next season they won the Premiership, and then they've won the FA Cup. The owner died in a helicopter crash. I mean, it's stuff of Hollywood, and now they've gone and capitulated in 10 years back down to where they were in 2009, like it never happened. And they've got a massive issue with. You look at some of the players as well. They had Vestergaard, ex Tottenham defender. They'd got Lascelles, who was at Newcastle in the Premiership last season. Harry Winks. This is a team that should just. I know you've got to earn the right, but how on earth the issues on and off the pitch have caused a relegation is quite incredible.
Again, you look at this and you think it's mismanagement, isn't it, at the very top in a lot of ways?
Well, that's the consistent message, isn't it? It's leadership of the organisation, not about the manager. Pep was given time, resources, done it his way, works into the perfect scenario. Who's to say Maresca isn't a great manager, but went to the wrong club in Chelsea? Where is he now? It's such a fickle. It's so fickle, isn't it?
I think this is what we've discussed with Arnie Slot. Just be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, yeah. I agree.
You know,
I still think Alonso would be your man though, Rich. If he came along, I think it would be difficult to not make that happen.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think that's the question is it nailed on or is it just teetering on the edge? I don't know. I something tells me it could happen. Something tells me that Slot almost knows that it's not for the long term. He's got
could be tricky next season. Liverpool, they're losing Salah, Robertson, and now they're even suggesting that maybe Alisson Becker might be going for one last hurrah at Juventus. So potentially tricky next season.
It's hard managing the swap over. We've recovered quicker than we thought. We've had an overhaul, but we've managed to still win something in the middle of all of that.
Two of those big players are going for free, and that might include Alisson Becker, by the way. So my goodness, they won't be getting much money back, Liverpool, when all these big players go.
It does happen. We've had Kev go for free.
Yeah,
David Silva went for free. Aguero went for free. And you let them go because it's the right thing to do at the time as well. I mean, we're losing Bernie this summer. And can I just I just need to that boy. My God, those doubters who dislike that player have no understanding of football. If it's just a jealousy rivalry of club, then that's fair enough. But Bernardo Silva is an all-time great. All-time great. What he has done in the last few weeks, this small, diminutive lad who's 5 foot nothing and weighs about 7 stone wet through.
Thank you.
So
You talking about me?
Yeah, I am. He is unbelievable. And if we win this title, how can he not be Player of the Year?
But Silva's one of those players that I think as opposing fans, you can't help but like and be absolutely drawn in by his talent. He's one of those players that you just think, wow, there's a Rolls Royce of a player there.
Spain produce those midfielders, don't they?
They do.
He's Portuguese, but I mean, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, honestly, it's his attitude. I mean, there was a moment against Arsenal last week where God knows what happened, but this ball went long and Gay and Kushinoff were nowhere to be seen. And all of a sudden, they'd got a 2-on-1. The only man running back, I don't know what he was doing there, was Bernardo Silva, right? And he was up against High Caverts, who's like twice the size. And he got his foot in and stopped. It became a handball, but he stopped it happening, and he went mad at everyone for like, what on earth you pushed up so high for? We're winning 2-1, and it was nearly a calamitous moment. And again, Burnley away we didn't play very well on Wednesday. The only man who was ticking it along and keeping people calm and doing the City way, Bernardo Silva, who can play wing, false nine, holding midfield, attacking midfield, or fullback, and centre half. Honestly, he's statistically, as an overall package, he's better than David Silva, and that is some statement.
Ooh.
Honestly, what he's won. He's got more appearances than Colin Bell. He's now officially the City player with the most ever wins after the Burnley win.
Wow,
most ever win. Honestly, he needs a statue that's a bit bigger than him, but he is a giant of a small player. Anyway, that's my. We'll do that on the last day of the season when I'm in tears.
Well,
a credit to Spain.
A credit to Spain as a Portuguese.
The Portuguese maestro. Can I just take us away a little minute from the teams and the goals? But you may have seen the news that BBC Football Focus, the bastion for something like 50 odd years of lunchtime TV on a Saturday, is ending. Is this something you'll miss, guys? Are you one of those sort of devoted fans, or is it with the amount of coverage now you get across different channels that you don't look at it anymore?
I don't really look at it anymore. Because...
Yeah, correct. When I was younger, 12 o'clock, 12:15 on a Saturday, getting us all excited for all them 3 o'clock games. Oh, was brilliant, wasn't it? It was how you started your excitement on match day.
Yep.
And if it was going to a game, we'd all get to my nan and granddad's, where we met to get in one car to go to the ground or whatever. And we used to go there and make sure we were always there for football focus before we left at 1 o'clock to go over to the match. It was perfectly timed for the 3 o'clock, you see. It was designed like that so you could watch it before you went to the match, unless you were an away fan. So, it was brilliant. I mean, you think of the interviews and the prestigiousness it had, and Wembley final day when it was all extended. But
that
now,
was when it was really good, yeah.
Yeah, but now BBC's we've just got saturated football, and it's either Sky or it's TNT I don't know what channel I'm watching half the time.
But it's also, I think, Dom, I think also I think there's a change in football where you don't necessarily need to be hearing a professional talk about the game. Like the BBC used a lot of ex-professional players and stuff like that. Yeah. Actually, now, the what you can see on YouTube by people who are talking passionately about football, there's just so many other ways to get football content.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think Sky, with Jeff Stelling and the Phil Thompsons and the Letiziers and the Paul Mersons, I think if I was going to watch anything with a bit of, I used to just flick onto that, if I wanted to see the latest scores or something like that. I thought that was quite good. Jeff Stelling was an excellent anchorman for that.
Yeah, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Especially when he liked, I think, was it Hartlepool or something? He got very excited if they scored a goal. And
Hartlepool or Peterborough. Maybe it's Hartlepool. I think you're right. But that's a live game coverage, it's a very different show, and for people who can't get to games and you're not seeing
I see what you mean. Are BBC still going to have final score then? Are they?
I assume so.
But it was more about very good level journalism.
Yes,
and that's what you're talking about, really, and incredibly well edited and put together pieces where it wouldn't be live, it would be stories, and they'd go off and do random things, wouldn't they? Like, I don't know, something about a particular player from a team in a lower league that had got a zillion appearances, or a manager that was doing really well, and they'd do pieces not just about the top end players at the big clubs and what the league chase was. It was more anecdotal stories as well. It was just great.
Rodney's got to be right though that social media has definitely changed. The fact that people are now watching the YouTubers. There's a lot more avenues you can go down, than just watching Football Focus. And
exactly,
and people now aren't sitting in front of their tellies; they're just watching their phones. Probably far too much, to be honest with you.
Well, I believe, Rich.
And then you've got people like us, of course.
I was going to say, I think you'll find we're going to have to move this till 12:15 on a Saturday, because word on the street is there's a slot opened up.
I don't know about math. I can't work it out in maths, but to quadruple our viewers last week, it was that's the kind of surge we want.
That's why I put the glasses on.
The lucky glasses, yeah.
It is the lucky glasses. Well, let's see if lucky glasses can make some predictions about the weekend's matches. Let's have a look what's going on. So tonight is Friday. Sunderland versus Forest. This is what sort of game is this, guys? What sort of game is this? I mean, Sunderland have a good season. Forest won't feel completely safe. So
no. Forest will be going for the win.
Forest. I'm going to go Forest win.
Yep. Okay.
Forest win tonight. Yep.
Yeah.
So, Rodney, is that home Forest or away?
No, away at Sunderland. But
tricky. They'll take a point.
And then it's the FA Cup semi-final, of course. Dom, this is down at Wembley. Are you going?
No. I mean, very quickly, there's a story within all that, isn't there? That City, I'm surprised you've not bunted me down on this one. We're not selling our allocation very well at all. I've had a few emails from City this week, almost desperate for me to buy a ticket.
I didn't see this.
I'm not going. No, I'm not going. If I'm honest, I went to Burnley away on Wednesday. I was at. It's 3 games in 6 days, and it sounds terrible, doesn't it? I think I said this last week that because we have been so much, it's Southampton, and I'm not belittling that at all. But it's a very expensive trip, so that's the reason.
Rodney, Rodney, can I just cut through this guff? It's because it's because he's expecting to get to the final.
Yeah.
Then he'll
He's,
shell
he's,
out the
he's
the
balancing
bucks.
his money, basically. I actually think, Richard,
I
there's
am.
somebody's in his London apartment that he normally uses for such occasions. He hasn't been able to kick them out, and so he won't stay anywhere else. And maybe even the airplane has been booked out for something else. So
I
he's
tell
just
you
not
what,
going.
I tell you what, Southampton, not to be taken lightly, they could.
No, they're not. They're not. You're right. They played brilliantly against Arsenal, didn't they? And they'll be
They
at
will.
it. They'll be
They'll
at
have
it.
a huge turnout. They will.
And
It's
City will change. City will mix that team up. I guarantee. They look leggy. Pep will definitely swap the team. I reckon there'll be at least 5 different faces.
That's tomorrow, is it, Rodney?
It
Yeah.
is Saturday, 5:15. What channel will that be on, guys? Is that TNT?
I think it's terrestrial. I think
Is
it's
it
on the
terrestrial?
telly. Yeah.
Right, okay. Yes, to watch it live on the BBC, I think you can. And then in the Premier League tomorrow is Fulham versus Villa at 12:30. There's an interesting time. Liverpool play Palace at 3 o'clock. Palace, and there's some rumors that Ruben Amorim might be replacing the Palace manager,
Okay.
Glasner, at the end of the season. I just seen that. I don't know if that would be.
That's more. I'm not being funny. That's more his level. Sorry, Palace. No, it is though, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be. It might be.
I wouldn't be happy about that if I was a Palace fan.
West Ham versus Everton. See, West Ham's their much maligned chairwoman is leaving the
Yes.
club, or CEO.
But that's interesting, isn't it? Because the Moyes connection there.
Yes, very much so. Very much
Is
so.
that at West Ham?
It is at West Ham. Yeah,
That is massive.
yeah. And then Tottenham. All eyes will be in this game. Tottenham versus Wolves at 3
Go on, Wolves.
and then it's the small encounter of Arsenal versus Newcastle. So Arsenal,
Ooh.
can they do the psychological thing of getting 3 points and going ahead? Newcastle need the points too. Newcastle, that's a big game. That's a really big game.
But Newcastle are suffering at the moment, aren't they? He's under pressure there, you know.
He is.
I think Arsenal will blow them away.
Yeah.
I think they'll blow them away. I think it'll be a rousing atmosphere, tea time game, trying to gel after a couple of defeats, and that Newcastle team is just there for the taking. They've just got no form, have they? No form.
And then on Sunday, it's the other FA Cup. It's Chelsea versus Leeds United. Which way are you calling this? I mean, you would turn around and favour Leeds with what's going on in Chelsea this week, although the team might pull together, I guess.
Oh, by the way, sorry to interrupt.
No.
I'd like to go back to that previous, because if Eddie Howe is under pressure and it hasn't been a good season and he does get the push, it would be interesting which club would take on Eddie Howe, because there'll be some people without managers, and Eddie Howe is very much well respected. I know it's got a bit pear-shaped at Newcastle, but it'd be, he could easily walk into some of those big jobs.
I don't think it would be a big job, I'll be honest with you. I think, but he would get a good job and he would get a good mid-table team. I don't think he would.
You mean like a Bournemouth or a?
That's where he was.
He wouldn't go back to Bournemouth.
You don't think?
No.
I agree. I think it's more likely to be a strong mid-table team that an Eddie Howe would go to. I think only because when you've got sacked from somewhere and you've had a bit of a run like that, and then maybe, I mean, that would actually create some interest, because if that did happen, the Newcastle job is a great job, because the squad's decent. Maresca would be a good. Maresca would be. I think he'd be a good move for someone like Newcastle. Maresca, because again, another available manager that just needs to get back in the game quick before he's forgotten, because it's so fickle.
True.
Yeah.
So Sunday is dominated by the FA Cup, Chelsea versus Leeds. That'll be a really interesting tie.
Come on, Leeds.
Yeah,
that's the other semi.
Yeah, that's the other semi.
Oh, I hope Leeds win that. Yeah, I hope Leeds win that.
So I wonder whether. Well, anyway, you sort of wonder whether the Chelsea board have maybe gone a wee bit too early with that game in there. And then there's a couple of interesting Women's Super League games as well. They're all 3 12 o'clock kickoffs. Manchester United away at Tottenham, and Chelsea play Everton. Liverpool host West Ham United. There's also UEFA Women's Champions Champions League semi-final with Arsenal playing Lyon. And then Monday night football is Manchester United versus Brentford. I know where I'll be on Monday night. So we desperately need 3 points there. We've had actually there's been a lot of talk about some of our transfers and what might happen, and certainly Ugarte seems to have fallen out of favour with quite a few people. So I think he might be on his way. What do you think about and also Mount? I think also will be on his way as well. It just hasn't worked out there. Just hasn't worked out. Right. I think that's it. Anybody, any more for any more?
No,
no, I don't think so. We'll just see what goes on with the FA Cup, and just to mention, maybe on the women's side, City women are back in action. They're very close to winning the title there, so just keep your eyes on that one. I think Arsenal need to lose this weekend for City to have claimed it, but it's almost a formality because they've got a 9-point lead. So
you're playing. Sorry, you're playing on Saturday at 12 o'clock against Brighton Hove Albion, Dom.
Yeah, we need to win that, and then Arsenal need to not win their game. So it might go to the following week where we've got Liverpool at home, and City would be hot favourites for that because in the women's game, Liverpool ladies are even worse than them, man.
Oh dear!
I'll tell you what. In the women's Champions League semi-final, there's an interesting game: Bayern Munich versus Barcelona.
Oh, by the way, we haven't mentioned Bayern Munich have sewn up the Bundesliga.
Yeah, Harry Kane.
Yes.
Harry Kane, and well done
scored,
to him.
Came off the bench and scored.
And I'm backing Bayern for everything now, and I want Harry Kane to get the golden boot. So fingers crossed, he deserves it, doesn't he? What a career he's had, and he's been a selfless player at Spurs.
And you got to turn around and say, wasn't that a good move, really, with everything that's gone on for him?
It's a shame, isn't it? Was it a one-man club? It looks like it, doesn't it? It looks like it.
To be honest with you, when Kane was injured and Son was there, and Son was on good form, they did perform quite well without Harry Kane. It wasn't all. They had a decent team, their squad that did back Kane up when he was injured. So I don't say it, but it was maybe him and Son. They never replaced those goals.
Can you imagine though, in a normal job, fellas, if your manager say working in a supermarket, it doesn't matter what it is, and your manager changed as often as the football managers have at Chelsea and Tottenham. Do you blame the team on the shop floor for putting things on the wrong shelves? If the manager's changed every 5 minutes, telling you to do something different. I mean, good players can only be good players if they've got the environment. And if there's such instability, I don't care how good you are, you're struggling, aren't you?
I think with the number of changes that some of these clubs have had, you could only point at the leadership within the football club and not in the football team. And
Rodney, it's that kind of insight that Dom has just given us is why he lives in Bowers Towers and he can afford glasses like that.
Well, Richard,
I told you these are cheap. I told you, and I've got another Zara T-shirt on. I'm a sponsor. He's feeding me these clothes. I mean, I might iron it next time, but the fashion's there.
He's got a shirt deal. He's got a glasses deal.
He's got a shirt deal.
And
Specsavers, sponsored by Specsavers.
Soon he'll have a car deal. And, and where are we, Richard? Where are we? We're just sitting here doing our best, being honest, and just trying to say it as it is.
I mean, I had to say this, when Don Bauer shows you up weekly on camera, you kind of know that the end is nigh, really.
What I've learned is basically a good pair.
It wasn't always that way, Rodney, I tell you. It was the other way around. Now I've accepted my fate.
I think, Richard, a good pair of glasses can conceal a lot of things. There you go.
Yeah, true.
So anyway, on that bombshell, we will end. I've got to say a bit of a shout out to Salford City because they're in with the shout of going up to League One. So there's a big game for them at the weekend down at Crawley, 3:00 team, and also a bit of a shout out to Alti as well. And they've stabilised their season actually. So there you go. Right, that has been the football and the Theatres of Dreams extra time version you've been listening to. Dom, the Glasses Bars, Richard Irvine, and he's actually in a bit better mood. Dom, do you not think he's not? The Liverpool gloom has gone a little bit.
Well, he's won a game. He's just won a game and he's happy. He's happy.
Yeah.
The winner takes it all. Right, we'll be back.
Oh.
We'll be back again next week. And don't forget, if you like podcasts, and maybe if you like your music podcast, look out for the Guardians of the Final Vault. You'll see a couple of people in there you might just recognize. If you like your music, check that out. We'll be back again, same time, same place next week. All the best, guys.
Take care.